Welcome to Friday Night Party Line. It's March 27, 2015, and tonight on the show we've got Viga. Hey, Viga, how you doing?
Hey, I'm cool.
And we've got Omar. Hey, Omar.
It feels weird being introduced without a racist commentary on where I come from or my race.
Does Jason
it's
do
refreshing,
that?
dude. It's very refreshing.
Is that what Jason does? I don't really listen to ATW 9K.
Why should you?
So it's good to have you on the show where we're not talking about cars.
It's nice to be here. I don't know what use I'm going to be here. If not, we're not talking about cars, but it's your doom.
Maybe my doom, but I take it willingly. Speaking of taking it willingly, Churba, how you doing?
I have no idea how to respond to that.
Yes, finally! Got him!
I've always told you I'm more of a top than a bottom, and yet these jokes about taking it willingly.
I finally got him. I left him speechless for like a half a second, but I got him. Yes!
Victory!
Yes. So we've got a smattering of very interesting topics today, and most of which were provided by Churba. So, Churba, why don't you kick us off on the first topic for the show today?
Yes, that'd be a great idea. Why don't you vamp while I go and actually look at what we're talking about?
So while Churba's looking up what we're actually going to be talking about, just want to give a little bit of an update. So the last episode we did, I did mention that I was going to be at Hanadoki-Con this past weekend, and I was. And,
Oh, shit, you were?
yeah, I know. Took the Amtrak down. It was fucking sweet. Got free booze on the train, got a free breakfast, got lots of good stuff, the perks of business class, and got to explore San Diego for the very first time. Viga, you should really come to the West Coast.
I want to. Like, my whole plan is to start from LA and then work my way up all the way to Portland.
Viga, start in like January. I can get you into Anime LA. You can be bumped right up to like awesome guests, the awesome like panelist / guest status.
That would be cool, but then there's MagFest.
True, MagFest.
Unless it's February, then I'm just gonna say screw MagFest and do something else. Which, hey, if I have the money to go out there, maybe Anime LA might be that something else.
Yeah.
And I just make an entire West Coast trip of it, because holy crap, I want to just go hang out with everyone I know on the coast, pretty much.
Yes, you can start down here in LA and work your way up. There are members in San Francisco, and then Row is up in Seattle. So,
yeah, and then, like, pretty much just do the whole thing and then go back to the Midwest. Chicago.
You can take one of them Amtrak cruise trains across the north from Seattle to Chicago.
See, I've only ever heard, like, really, really nasty jokes about Amtrak trains. Mostly from Mad Magazine, so that'll show my age a little, but,
Mad Magazine's a...
Still being published, dude.
Really? I thought that shut down.
Isn't it still being published?
Or at least on web only.
No, they're still publishing. I see them in the CVS all the time. Never pick the damn things up, but they're there.
I haven't seen them around since I was a kid.
No.
Then again, I haven't really noticed them
around
since I was a kid.
But Hanadoki-Con, it was a first-time convention, and everything went without a hitch. I collected a lot of footage, so I'm planning on making a video at some point about it. But suffice to say that Allison Meyer and her whole crew, which I've been happy enough to work with at a lot of the conventions I've been going to, Anime Los Angeles most notably, pulled off a fantastic convention. Allison is the chairman at the for Hanadoki-Con, and it was absolute fucking great time, both as a performer and a guest. And if you're in San Diego, keep an eye out for it coming up next year, coming in the spring. So you should definitely check it out. So, Churba, has that been sufficient enough vamping for you to get your topic in hand?
Quite a bit more than was necessary, but I didn't have the heart to interrupt you.
Well, go on then. Get on with it.
You sounded like you were having fun leading the show for once.
Well,
Right.
we shall see.
Now, first thing that's up is, well, recently a report came out of the IARC, or the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer, basically saying, hey, guess what? Glyphosate causes a shitload of cancer. Like, it's bad, guys. So, of course, people have been freaking out a lot and going, oh no, Roundup, Monsanto, we're scary. The only thing is, it's entirely bullshit. See, the thing is that they basically took 16 studies, 7 of which don't even mention glyphosate, considered them for less than a week, presented no new information, and just decided that this somehow means that everything we know about these chemicals isn't true anymore. So really that throws a lot of questions up about the state of reporting around science, around, well, chemicals, around industry, or
Food
at least
safety.
industries where people aren't traditionally employed.
It's not really reporting around science and all that stuff. It's reporting around Monsanto. I mean, if it was another company, it would have just gone under the radar. But people hate Monsanto.
It's like
any single thing they can, like any single piece of like dirt they can get on them, they're gonna get it.
pretty much Monsanto is like the buzzword, and so they're using this to make it even more so, right?
I mean, they're evil.
Basically.
Don't get me wrong, they're evil, but some stuff is just made up.
Oh yeah, they're definitely evil. It's just that they're not necessarily any more evil than any other amoral giant corporation.
They're not constantly evil.
They're not twirling their mustache kind of evil. They're just
there you go.
greedy.
So
evil.
75% evil.
I would say I would say the devil in them is a part-timer.
Yeah.
I get that
He works in
reference.
HR.
Oh no, HR is always staffed by devils. That's not even a question.
So, really the question is, how can we improve upon things like this? What way can we improve public awareness about science to stop things like this happening again? And I know I sound slightly weird. It's because I'm leaning into the microphone as I put my phone on to silent because I don't want to owe anybody a beer.
Well, I mean, I think the core problem is we can jump right down to, the masses are by and large, scientifically, I don't want to say illiterate, but like, yeah, what the hell, scientifically illiterate. I'm scientifically illiterate for the most part.
Is this a case of media finding out about fact, but then media exploding it so it could get more eyeballs on thus the story, but then it gets interpreted by more people about X is X, when really X is X plus X because of X?
Partially,
I do not understand a single word that came out of your mouth.
Oh.
It's more a case of organization sets out to say a particular thing, which in this case was deceptive, and then the media picked it up without any sort of critical review. They just trusted it because it came from the WHO and it seemed kind of sciencey.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Well, it's the same thing with vaccines and the autism thing, right? Just because someone that's a doctor said something at some point, is like, we can use this angle to attack vaccines. Okay, let's publish this. And that's just the media being the media. I mean, I don't think there's anything we can do about it, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. People like hearing about like bad companies doing bad stuff, so they can feel morally better than everyone because they don't buy Monsanto, and there's just stupid people doing stupid stuff. That's it.
Mm.
And
People like
stupidity. There's no vaccine for stupidity.
Yet.
No, if there was
our
one,
friends, if there was,
they're
our
not gonna get
friends
vaccinated.
at Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline would be happy to provide.
Actually,
It's-
there is a vaccine for stupidity. It's called fucking school.
I thought you were going to say like
Somehow.
cyanide or something like that.
Yes,
Oh, I thought you were going to say punch in the face or something.
yes,
Like a
but
Buzz Aldrining.
yes, but Churba, like most medications, most Americans don't take school enough and in the proper dosage.
So sad.
Have you considered maybe sorting that out?
Yes, but the problem is the stupid people vote.
And sometimes get into office.
Most of the time, I get into office.
Let's face it, you've got a lot of time on your hands. You're not really smart enough to contribute to society. You might as well become a politician.
So what's the over/under on this, Churba? Do you think this is going to be still a thing in maybe like a couple of weeks' time, or is it just going to blow over?
Hard to say. I think in the mainstream media, it's going to blow over in less than a week. Because to the mainstream media, it's a good headline, it's a good story, but there's no meat to it. It doesn't have any legs.
It's no
It's not
Malaysian
gonna
go anywhere.
Airlines.
I can
Yeah, it
guarantee you,
is.
I'll be reading about this on Facebook for like 1 or 2 months.
Exactly.
We all
That's where it's
have
gonna
those
get its
friends. We
tail.
all have one of those.
I think
Oh,
something's going to happen in like next week that's just going to blow this away, and it's going to be a new topic. Like, holy crap, manga exploded in Australia somehow. I don't know.
That would be
Or another-
amazing.
on.
or another airplane will be shot down by Russia or something. And
Oh
It feels
my
bad.
god, Putin's a bear.
did you hear? He wants
Extra
to. Yeah,
amazing.
he wants to make a. Putin wants to make an autobahn from basically Europe through Russia, all the way into Canada and America.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yes. Let us make a large land trading route go through perhaps one of the most antagonistic superpowers in the history of the last 50 years.
And even putting that aside, just the weather up there is just too harsh to even build it, much less travel through it.
It would be good work for off-season rally drivers.
And here I was just thinking, oh, he's already tried to start construction into the Ukraine. Look at all that bloody territory he's taken over with eminent domain. Oh wait, I mean tanks, not eminent domain. Mr. Putin, please stop invading countries. It's not cool, man. Please keep listening to the show. As long as you listen, you're not that bad by us, I guess.
Yeah.
Except for all the horrible shit you do.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's more accurate to say if you're listening to the show, President Putin, you're not all bad.
But you're not all there either.
I can never shake out of my mind that music video that ends up with Vladimir Putin putting on a giant pair of.
Baby, I love the way you move. That's. I actually have it here on my desktop because I love it so much.
Nice.
Yeah, techno Viking, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we really
Slightly
say
left, off center. Love the way you move. There you go.
Yeah.
Can we really say that Putin is a bear? Considering he hates gay people and therefore he necessarily hates lesbians?
Damn it! I was gonna do that joke.
Well, I do have something you can do, Victor.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Considering you're one of our resident Americans and have far more convention experience than I do, probably, you can take the next topic about Gen Con and how they might be abandoning Indiana.
Well, what a
Indiana's being
coincidence
shitty.
that you should say that, Sherpa. I was just about to do that. You know, we're just so in sync. We got this.
That's terrifying to me.
So, like Churba teased, Gen Con is, well, first off, a little bit of a setup. So, Illinois,
Indiana.
Indiana, I'm sorry, not to besmirch the wonderful state of Illinois. Indiana has been pondering and attempting to pass a bit of legislation that could allow for the refusal of service or discrimination against gays and lesbians from service in public institutions or businesses, basically making it legal to discriminate against people based on their sexual orientation, which is bullshit. And Gen Con, which, if you are not familiar with Gen Con, is a rather large convention. It is safe to say that they are a major economic contributor to the state of Indiana, has basically said, listen, you motherfuckers, if you go on with this, we're going to pull out entirely and then watch your profits from taxes implode. So, there's that. And a little bit of an added thing to this, the mayor of Seattle has come out and said, hey, Gen Con, if Indiana passes this, come to Seattle. We've got Wizards of the Coast here.
No, they have to move to Illinois. I want them to move to me. We're right next to them. But unfortunately, Gen Con can't pull out that soon because they do have a contract. Like I read later on, a follow-up, that they had a contract till 2020, pretty much.
Yep.
So they won't even be able to enact this until 5 years from now.
There is always a way to get out of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I hope so, because, it would make their threat less threatening, if that's the case.
Yeah. We're going to get out of here in 5 years.
Yeah, well, Indiana's like, fine, we'll just enjoy 5 years of you. Wah ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
I wouldn't be so sure. Remember, PAX Australia was contracted at Flemington Racecourse for 5 years. And the very next year, we were in Jeff's shed, the Melbourne Convention Centre, because the racecourse was terrible.
I'm sorry, Jeff's shed?
Yeah, it's Jeff's shed. What's wrong with Jeff's shed?
It's a shed?
It's a
From a guy named
Yes.
Jeff?
Yeah, it's made of Galvy. We got it from Bunnings. The convention has had to downsize, but we're fitting it in.
That's a lot of galvanized metal, the sheet metal, dude.
Tabletop must be so much easier to manage with so little space.
So many street passes in just such a small space. Hey.
You just
No,
get in
it's
there
actually,
and you start approaching it and your 3DS just says no.
There are actually some groups of enforcers who basically, especially at SAT theaters, who will actually have one person like inside during a talk, and that person on the inside's job is just to clear everybody's street passes. And then they just funnel through. But no, it's called Jeff's Shed after the Premier of Victoria. At the time, it was either commissioned or built, which was Jeff Kennett. So.
Well, that is like the least impressive name for a convention center that I've ever heard. But hey, if it fits PAX, then yeah.
Oh yeah, it fits pretty well.
But back onto the topic. It's pretty good to see that, number one, that the institutions that in which geeks tend to gather around, in this case Gen Con, are taking an active step in basically saying none of that shit.
Mm.
Because it's really, with Gamergate recently, there's been a lot of hate and vitriol being spat around, not just about women, but about gays and lesbians, and gay has been for too long a derogatory term used in the gaming community. It's been really bad. But it is good to see that Gen Con is stepping up, considering such an old institution, too.
Yeah, Gen Con's like 40 years old or something, right?
Yeah.
That's
No, I
like
have a
an
question.
ancient con.
Now, I mean, for a Costa Rican, the equivalent of a state, $50 million is a lot of money. But for such a big state like Indiana, is it really that much of a difference?
Yes.
It's not a whole $50 million. I mean, they move $50 million, but how much of that does the state actually get their hands on? And is
Well,
that really a lot of money to be something to change the the law, to change?
Well,
Well,
here's the thing: not just the state itself. It's not the state's not really worried so much about their taxes as they are worried about the local businesses that will be negatively impacted by the loss of such a big economic driver. I mean, a massive convention like PAX not only provides taxes to the state, but they provide a lot of economic influence on the local restaurants and hotels and all that jazz.
yeah,
And don't
it's
forget all of the vendors at any given convention in an area, on top of the convention itself paying taxes to the state. All of the vendors are all paying sales tax where applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Well,
what,
they're
a
supposed to
weekend?
be anyways.
It's a weekend of business, right? It's 3 days at most.
it's a
Right,
40
but a convention. Right, but here's the thing: a convention of that size can pull in as much customers as a small business might do in a year.
Yeah, like a huge con can affect a town and give them revenue that will last them pretty much a whole year of just running it. Hotels, food, just street vendors, small businesses, convention center itself, staff, other workers they have to contract in, union workers they might have to contract in.
Right.
So money's getting
those
spread
like
around.
3 or 4 days is enough for a solid at least half of their business expenses for the rest of the year.
Not just that, and sales tax.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the economic situation of a tourist town, but concentrated within like a 2 or 3 day span.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus it's Indianapolis. No one's really going to Indianapolis for that many things. It's not like
Indiana's
L.A.,
kind
New
of
York, or Chicago.
Indiana, as much as it has the Indianapolis 500, is very much a flyover state.
I see.
So
I
mean,
would
LA,
this
there's
make
always shit going down here.
will
Yeah.
it actually make any difference on if this stays as law, or if they're just gonna like veto it at some point, or?
Well, I mean, even if it does, even if Gen Con saying we're gonna pull out doesn't actually make a big enough economic influence, the fact that it's being picked up by media, because Gen Con, I mean, even if it's not a monetary influence, socially, it's a big part of, so people are picking up on it. And
Is it just me?
nothing else, it's going to raise awareness about the situation without this bill. I think it's not just you.
Is it me?
Hello?
It's
No,
just
it's
me?
not just you.
Okay.
No, not just you.
No, I think it's just one person, but it's
Victor, I
it's
think
not
you're a
it.
robot.
Did I die?
Yes.
Did I
You're a
die?
robot.
Yeah, you went a bit wobbly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're back.
I'm a robot now. Okay. All right.
Look like
But
you
you're the one
started
recording, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it comes out nice and clean. So just to put a little marker in here. There we go. Although I could have just hit the marker button. That would have done it too.
Yeah, dude. F10, man. Come on.
I remapped it to M, and I'll also do it on my, let's see, here we are, on my backup recorder too. There we go.
Spin
So,
around and hit an F sharp on your keyboard as well.
So even if it's not a major economic impact, it'll still create an impact socially where people will be made aware of this piece of legislation, contact their local governance and stuff to influence one way or the other depending on how they feel about it.
It's basically a show of strength, a show of influence. Like, this major convention did this, it'll inspire maybe other people to do it, and or bring attention to it, like Victor said. It's a good move on Gen Con's behalf, even if they can't reasonably leave in the next few years.
Well, they probably can. You can do anything with lawyers.
I hope so.
They're also not alone. I believe there's another company called Salesforce or something similar who are refusing to send people into Indiana if this becomes law.
Yes, I read that article too. So you got two right
this
there.
is not lying.
And Salesforce is a huge company.
Yeah, a lot of companies are starting to follow suit and basically say, yeah, we're not going to have anything to do with you if you do this.
Yeah, and even beyond that, individuals are boycotting Indiana businesses that do approve of this pretty much.
Right, because finally society at large is recognizing that being discriminatory towards a perfectly innocent and wonderful part of the population is just batshit crazy.
Mm.
Now, speaking of something that's entirely unrelated,
And now for something completely different.
Victor, what's the next topic? I can't find the tab.
So, I'm speaking a little bit blind on this one because it's about a book, but I haven't read the book. That I did download and I'm going to read it. But Steven Spielberg has been tapped and has agreed to direct the sci-fi book, a movie adaptation of the sci-fi book Ready Player One for Warner Brothers. So, if you're not up on your movie gossip or your movie director knowledge, this is the first time Spielberg has directed a movie since AI, which it wasn't really originally his movie. He took over it. He did it for Stanley Kubrick. So that was like 14 years ago. So having him back to direct a movie, ooh.
Nah.
Have you guys read that book, Ready Player One?
Unfortunately, I haven't read it.
You have?
Margot, sorry?
Turbo, have you read? You said you read the book.
I have, yes.
Is it good?
It's fucking garbage. Okay, that's probably a little bit brief.
Harsh?
But,
well, wait to provide a weighted and balanced opinion.
Okay, let me put it another way. It's kind of a reverse Twilight.
Oh,
where Twilight has really interesting concepts. I mean, vampires as diamond-hard golems that run on explosive oil strained out of animal blood. That's fucking sick, man. That's great. I want to see that. Stephanie Meyer can't write her way out of a fucking paper bag. She is hopeless. Now, what we have here is the opposite problem. Ready Player One is actually reasonably well written. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it's pretty good. The only problem is just the meat isn't there. It's just 80s references. That's it. It's just a couple of 100 pages of 80s references and a pretty template hero's journey.
So, what is it exactly? Is it like some sort of gamer goes into a game sort of story? I'm just kind of guessing from the title.
Okay, basically the synopsis is that... pardon me, just thought I had belched there for a minute.
Sword Art working online?
Not quite. He doesn't get sucked into the game. Basically, we're in the kind of almost cyberpunk, almost dystopian future. And there's this kid. He's, disadvantaged, down in his luck, not exactly upper crust. And he's obsessed with two things. Well, sort of two things. One of them is the 80s, and the other one is this big kind of ARG puzzle game around this chap who helped invent the internet as they know it, which is basically a fully VR immersive experience. Fully immersive VR experience, if I want to actually speak English. So that's his two obsessions, and he's trying to solve the puzzles, get the prize. And along the way, there's the 80s references constantly. And he goes along, finds friends, finds allies, gets through the quests, carries on, things happen.
So it kind of sounds like some sort of Ender's Game mixed with Summer Wars and anime and gaming anime Yu-Gi-Oh! Like tropes or whatever.
Kind of, yeah, I'd say that's reasonably accurate.
Is this going to be an animated film?
No.
No.
I have no
Live
idea.
action.
I don't know. It sounds like it would lend itself better to animation, based
Oh,
on this
well.
concept.
Well, apparently they are going to be. Spielberg has gone and done a lot of research in preparation for working on this film. Going and watching films, studying the interests of Cameron. God, David Cameron? No, that a
James
prime
Cameron?
James Cameron, yes. James Cameron, Gilliam Jackson, Fincher, Kubrick, of course, Stephen Lucas, going and watching a whole bunch of films and stuff, getting ready for this. Like a director has to do research,
It's
apparently.
not gonna work.
No.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're
not
also,
gonna be
let's see, what does else the article say? The studio that's working on this has been on the cutting edge of this kind of thing before, pushing the envelope with technology and visual effects with the Lego Movie, Inception, and The Matrix, and they're going to be trying to pull it off again. So
I imagine, in my mind, this is going to look like Spy Kids 3.
Well, Zach Penn wrote the script, and he did X-Men, Last Stand, and the Avengers movie. So that's hopefully good.
At least it'll be visually good.
No,
Well,
that's-
hopefully it'll be
you see, that's-
story good too.
That's the thing. Spielberg is way too old to do one of these things. He is way too artsy and highbrow to do one of these things. I mean, it's like asking Stanley Kubrick to do like a Barney movie. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna be visually interesting, but it's not gonna appeal to the target audience. It's not gonna be as good.
I'm sorry, I'm
okay.
imagining Barney dressed as a Droog now.
Okay, but
Hey
you
man,
gotta,
if Stanley Kubrick can fake the moon landing, he can do anything.
Well, I mean, you got to remember that Stanley Kubrick, when he originally, AI was originally his vision, and Steven Spielberg, and he wanted to make the movie like how Steven Spielberg made it. Really nice, happy-ish ending, without a whole lot of horrible horror in it. So, yeah.
Okay,
It's not gonna work.
point of
It's not
order.
gonna work.
Spielberg has directed a bunch of films since AI.
Has he? Wait,
Yeah,
where did
Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, War of the Worlds, Munich.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Indiana Jones,
you're right.
Crystal
You're right.
Skull.
Let me revision that. AI was the last film he directed for Warner Brothers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
There you
There we go.
Yes.
I still don't think it's gonna work.
Well, I mean, if the new movie Pixels works, this sure will.
And the
Oh,
new movie
God.
Pixels is not gonna work either.
Pixels look like the worst movie ever based on that
So
trailer.
bad.
It looks
I
like
am-
video game Ghostbusters. How
I
can
am
it be
not
bad?
going to see that.
I'm
And if I do
going
see
to
it, it's
go-
going to either be on Netflix or just to see it because it seems so bad.
I want to go see that movie with a bunch of friends and then immediately go drinking afterwards.
That sounds like something you should just riff and you watch it.
See, here's something I want to see if anyone noticed. I think Omar might have. Victor maybe, and it's not really Vega's thing. Did you notice in the trailer, like right after Lannister guy goes, "Oh yeah," and takes off in the Mini? That Mini sounds like it's got a fucking LS3 V8 in it.
Good
LSD
God,
thing.
yes! I rolled my eyes so hard at those minis.
I'm just like, what the hell? Why does this thing sound like a freaking Corvette or something?
Yeah.
I have
They
no
chopped
comment
the
on that.
They chopped the exhaust off or something.
No, if they chopped the exhaust off, it would have sounded like a dirt bike without an exhaust. They have nowhere near enough engine to make it sound like that. But it's Hollywood. I mean, that's how it goes.
Yes. Glory to the sound designer.
I will
Minis
say,
sound like Corvettes.
if they can fit a V8 on a Yugo, because I've seen it here in Costa Rica, they can certainly put a V8 on a Mini. And Peter
Well,
Dinklage is small enough to actually fit all the machinery and stuff like on his right side.
Oh man, but wait, aren't minis front wheel drive?
It doesn't
The
matter.
new minis, the old minis weren't. The new minis might be.
I'm pretty sure they are.
The new minis are not minis anymore.
No.
Anyways.
They're
Well,
not.
there
They're
are
huge.
still the mini minis, but there are more maxi minis than mini minis.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't make old school minis anymore.
No. No more no little old school 60s mini clubs. Whoosh over Vito's head.
When I hear V8, I think juice. When I hear mini and maxi, I think pads. So
It's the same thing, yeah. It's basically the same.
Pretty much.
I knew they were maxi pads, but do they really have mini pads?
I like the tiny ones. It's a long story.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so
Yeah,
with this, the
no.
verdict. So can we say the verdict, the pre-release verdict on this movie is hopeful but probably shit.
No.
I-
Shit, but probably shit.
I'm interested in
but probably.
seeing a juxtaposition of an already director with this premise, but that's about it. I'm not going to say it's going to be particularly bad or good,
Yeah.
but it's going to be interesting in some sort of like way that people are going to be talking about. Even if it's bad, even if it's like the worst movie that year or one of the best movies that year.
Well, Steven Spielberg plus, cult, favorite book is probably going to lead to some media coverage.
Yeah, but I just think he might not be the right director for this sort of movie.
Probably not.
It's gonna suffer the same fate as like the newest James Cameron movies, like that stupid Avatar thing.
Oh.
It's not a good movie.
Oh, okay.
But it made a lot of money. It made a lot of money because it had that dude directing it, and that's it.
Wasn't
And
the
it was
premise of that
pretty.
movie Grown Up Fern Gully?
Yep, basically that's it.
I don't know.
Um,
I'm actually going to go the other way on this one. Now that I think about it a little bit, I think there's actually a better chance that it will be good than we think, and here's why.
We've been historically wrong on this sort of thing.
No, we're never wrong. Here's the thing. In the book, the 80s references and all that, it's there. It's all right there in the text. You read through it and everything else. It's kind of beats you over the head with it quite a bit. You don't have to do that in a film. In a film, you don't have to say, and he was playing Pac-Man like a champion. You can just show someone playing Pac-Man really well. Not mention it, just show instead of tell. That's basically the only chance it has of not sucking, is if they don't just tell everything and show.
Yeah.
Sherba.
Mm.
Steven Spielberg is not a child of the 80s. He will not understand those references, and he will be ham-fisted with like giant fists of ham with the references.
Oh yeah, probably.
Well,
But I'm
there
still
is
going to
one
have
thing.
some hope.
There is
It's
one thing.
contractual.
Like
One thing.
Steven. No, sorry. Like Steven Spielberg kind of made he was the creator of some of the 80s references people make because he made those really huge films back then.
You can say the same thing about George Lucas, and would you give him a Star Wars movie?
I wouldn't
Not
give him
anymore.
any movie.
Okay.
I want him to just go sit back and just be retired and not touch a camera ever again.
I'd give him a Star Wars movie with the proviso that it was kind of like the older Star Wars films where there's someone there to slap him on the hand and say, no, that's enough.
There was actually a comic based on the first script, like the first draft of the script of Star Wars, before it all changed.
Oh.
Someone made a comic about it. And it's like an official published one, not like a fan comic. So I suggest trying to find that one because it's very strange and not as interesting as Star Wars, even though.
First drafts of scripts can be very different than what we get. I read through like a third draft of Bicentennial Man, and oh my god, that is such a different movie. Okay, so let us finally hit on the last topic of the day. And that is apparently on the Golden Coast.
Just Gold.
Wonderful. Just Gold Coast, in the Gold
Yeah.
Coast of Australia. Some actresses were scammed by a fake talent agent who basically put out the call for busty wenches for the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Oh, that was all over Facebook. Well, before people thought it was a scam.
So wait, and what doesn't did they have? I mean, did the dude say send me naked pictures of yourself?
Okay, here's basically the thing. There was a casting agency called Bud Hope who have worked with Pirates of the Caribbean in the past and will be working with them again for the upcoming movie. And they put out a casting call for a bunch of different people for Pirates of the Caribbean. And then later on, someone else put out another casting call under the name Bud Hopes. They had nothing to do with Bud Hopes, but they put out a fake call basically saying, hey, we need some busty ladies to play some busty wenches. You've only got to be this dress size, and you must be rocking like this kind of cup size, no implants, must have good availability. And the people who contacted him, he's just like, okay, we want to see some pictures of you doing this and this and this and this. And a lot of people actually did that.
I mean, I don't mind if they sent the pictures, but did they actually ask for like naked pictures? Like you need to be nude when you do this.
The text of the email included the phrase "You can never show too much."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not victim blaming here, but
Guy who
a
did
Disney,
this
a
is a
Disney
scumbag.
movie wouldn't ask you for naked pictures. First of all, it's freaking Disney.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, the bells are there, I guess. I don't know.
I think part of it is I don't want to. Again, I'm with Omar here. I don't want to blame the victims, but in today's digital age, you need to have some understanding of some basic internet safety here. If you're working with a big professional, or if you think you're working with a big professional organization, having to send information to an @gmail.com email address should be a little bit of a red flag.
Oh, it was a Gmail account?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Bob Hope's casting @gmail.com.
No one even bothered calling. No, nothing.
It's not.
It turns out the guy was actually a 22-year-old who was caught. They've actually caught the guy. He tried to run away into bushland, and it did not work.
Because of course he was. Of course.
Yep. That news is just so full of sad.
He is probably going to jail.
I hope so.
hope
He
he
deserves
goes to
to go to jail.
What under what crime though? I gotta wonder. What is I don't think it's illegal to impersonate a business. Maybe trademark infringement?
Well, he did definitely impersonate the casting agency. Like, the casting agency had nothing to do with this scam. They didn't do anything in particular.
Well,
he created
the fact
the whole
that's a
plot.
scam, it makes it illegal. I mean, if I sell you something and tell you something else, I will go to jail, right?
They could probably sue him based on dragging the name of their company through something illegal. Like maybe sue him on grounds like that.
Well, I mean, except he wasn't dragging their company through something illegal. He was soliciting for stuff, and he got, willing responses. I mean, I'm totally with that this is a jackass thing to do, and I feel really bad for the women that fell for it, but I'm not sure where the crime lies.
This is where we need
There's a question. What did he do with the pictures?
Yeah, what did he do?
I think I can answer that question.
I mean, did he post them online? Did he do something with them? Did he try to blackmail the girls with it?
Fappening Part 2 or something?
At
I
this
don't
time, it's unknown, but
Right.
the rumblings around from some sources are basically that he was trying to shop them around to various amateur porn sites, but I don't know if that's true. That is at this point unconfirmed.
Because that's the only like reason I think someone would do something like this, to try and sell them to some other site.
Sell them or personal use, but still, there needs to be some sort of punishment for doing this.
All right. So
Okay.
I found like one of the original articles on the Gold Coast Bulletin talking about this email, but they didn't know it was fake at the time. It says, let's see. Sharnay Lewis reckons her real treasure chest makes her just the busty wench Disney is looking for to join Johnny Depp's drunken buccaneer Jack Sparrow in the cast of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. The former Dracula's cabaret performer is ready to sit the jiggle test and rock a corset after the producers of the $250 million blockbuster posted a casting call for busty wenches who must have a natural D2FF cup bra-sized breasts. Quote, my agent texted me this week saying, random question, are your boobs real and would you consider yourself busty? Yada, yada, yada. And it goes and actually quotes the actual email in full. Busty ladies needed, looking for Caucasian ladies 18 to 50 that are a dress size 8 to 12 and a rocking D2FF cup, natural only, no implants, must have good availability during May. Please send all pics at Please send all pics to budhopescasting@gmail.com. Forward to anyone that fits this brief that is interested in paid background extras work approximately $23 an hour. A former contestant on Big Brother and The Voice, Miss Louise, said she would definitely apply.
So the newspaper gave it credibility. They didn't even bother asking the actual agency about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is bad.
It's horrible. It is horrible, but also just perfect.
I mean, honestly, any girl listening like right now,
right?
Unless you want to do porn, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean,
yeah,
do it what you want. Never send a naked picture of yourself to anyone. Never, ever, never, never, ever.
Unless it's like someone like you love for life. Like,
no, not even then. Don't do it. Do not do it. Computers get hacked. Phones get hacked. People misplace stuff. You will be naked on the internet, and it's going to be forever. Your kids are going to see you naked on the internet, and that's going to be forever. You're going to scar your kids for life. That's what's going to be.
2091. Wow, this is my great-grandmother naked. Huh.
There is some people who may or may not have naked photos of me at some point, but frankly, if you hack into their computer and you end up with a naked photo of me, I'm not that concerned. Joke's on you, son.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I also must.
Really,
a professional casting agency will never ask for a naked picture of yourself. A casting agent will never ask you to be naked in front of them for casting reasons unless it's a porn thing and you're actually on doing like the porn. So just don't.
Really, it's a lesson in internet common sense. Although I could see why someone would fall for it just because of the glamour of working in movies, and thus their common sense could get clouded by that. But guys and assholes. Damn.
Also, I may or may not have to. I may or may not have to apologize. I also may or may not have worked for Bulletin at some point in the past. And I also cannot fucking believe, like right in the middle of this article talking about how these ladies were scammed on the Bulletin, interactive gallery, our celeb pics for busty wenches.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was just like, why? Really?
Placement!
Ladies and
Placement!
gentlemen, You can't always work at the best places, let me tell you. Also, by the way, it was Kim Kardashian, Scarlett Johansson, Jessica Rabbit, the fucking cartoon character, Pamela Anderson, Dolly Parton, who is about 180 in the shade, Keira Knightley, who famously somewhat lacks a bust, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Christina Hendricks, fair enough, Kate Upton, and that's it. So they're not even good at making lists of busty wenches, for fuck's sake.
Keira Knightley, really?
Really.
They tried to make her look busty in one of the last pirate movies, but it was difficult.
Yeah, it turns out the part where she was almost fainting in the first one because of her corset being too tight, that was a little more truth than movie magic. They really did corset her up super tight with a lot of support to try and give her some cleavage.
Oh,
when
God.
you need one of those pickup truck strap things, you know,
A winch?
that's the one. You know you're trying to do a little bit too much with a corset than you probably should.
I know the dangers of corsets from other people. Oh God!
I have too many lady friends who wear corsets to not know how much of a pain in the ass they are.
I have worn them. They're uncomfortable.
I'm sure you do, Churba.
Churba,
I'm pretty sure you're wearing it right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's pictures on the internet of you wearing that same corset.
I don't know if they're on the internet, but there are pictures.
Churba in corset.
If there is a picture of it, it needs to have its own Facebook page, just like that fucking hat.
Facebook page, Churba in corset. Done.
Dude, I've been in the theatre on and off for most of my life. I can't actually think of many articles of women's clothing that I haven't worn at some point.
There we are. I just opened up that fucking hat Facebook page.
Yes.
34
Actually,
people like
in fact,
this.
I wore a corset playing Frank-N-Furter. There you go.
Well, there you go.
You can't take the piss if Tim Curry wore one too.
Tim Curry has worn a many thing.
But
Yes.
he's Tim fucking Curry.
Tim Curry can do everything.
And I'm most definitely not Tim fucking Curry.
No.
Yeah, you're
Not as
working
big of a ham as he is.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
All right, so we've exhausted our topics list. Before we wrap up the show, is there anything anybody wants to plug?
Yes. Something about Atomic Trivia War. Listen to it.
Yes.
And I don't know the address, so just Google it. Atomic Trivia War 9000.
Yes,
There you go,
listen
Jason.
to Atomic Trivia War 9000 on Simply Syndicated. It's a very good show, or so I'm told.
Yes, I've been told so as well. I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah. Vika, you're doing a comic now, right?
Oh, I've had pretty much, yeah. I've had to put it on a small hiatus because I got school stuff and I'm working on an animated short right now.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just for school. My first short I'm doing. It involves a bacon sandwich
Ooh.
and lots of DBZ fighting.
Sounds exciting.
Right. I do have My Little Pony fan comic because I like ponies. Yay. Called Cream Cheese and Val. You could find that at creamcheeseandval.tumblr.com. I do lots of different art, and you can see what I'm working on my art blog, vikasartroom.tumblr.com. And right now, planning a lot of panels for conventions I'm going to. I'm doing panels at ACEN, that's Anime Central. I'm doing panels at, hopefully, Anime Midwest, Kineticon, and Otakon, but not confirmed yet. However, it is confirmed that I'm going to all three of those conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And what else can I fit in? Oh, I'm working on the Atop the Fourth Wall movie, doing storyboards for it, as well as working on set as their cook.
Ooh.
So that's about it right now. Otherwise, just follow me on Twitter. Vega at Twitter.
Yes, and also follow her on Tumblr, where she shares a great many wonderful things at vegaishere.tumblr.com.
I am Tumblr crazy.
You're Tumblr... No, Vega, you're Tumblr-tastic.
You also have a DeviantArt, because I didn't know you had a Tumblr. I followed you on DeviantArt, actually.
Oh, yes, I have a DeviantArt, starlightv at .deviantart.com, but I updated, it's kind of like my secondary art place now that I got a Tumblr. I really need to post more things there and be more active on that. But I do post stuff on it maybe every month or so. I think I have just about everything social media-wise. I got an Elo, and I don't even use that.
You gotta secure your namespace.
Pretty much. That's how I got Vega on Tumblr before all the other Vegas around the country. 'Cause apparently there's a lot of them, and I must defeat them all to be the only Vega. There can only be one.
Okay.
Gerbs, anything you got to promote?
I'm just glad that I am not in competition for that title.
Jeez, no kidding. God, what was that
Vega
thing?
would probably kill me.
Oh man, I'm getting flashbacks to like the geek chats we did so long
long
ago.
Oh God, I was thinking about those just the other day.
What was that thing? I know, Tyrone Washington.
Tyrone Washington here. Here to talk about Tumblr and lots of other stuff. I'm big, I'm black, and I'm awesome. My man voice needs some work. I gotta do man voice. I can't do that much anymore.
Oh yeah, Tyrone Washington.
Rocket fuel, malt liquor. Damn. Let's see who gets that reference.
That sounds something
okay,
Black
anyway.
Dynamite would say.
Things to plug. First of all, since Omar can never remember it, it is simplysyndicated.com/shows/ATW9K.
Thank
There's
you.
Also a meetup in Leeds on April the 18th. See the Facebook group for details. And Leeds is an awesome town. You should go there. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to miss it, Richard. I know you desperately want us there, even though we're not on Simply Syndicated at all, but we should be.
There's a Friday night party line meetup, and I know nothing about this.
Really? Where the fuck is it? Why did nobody tell me about this? Why did nobody tell you about
Wait,
this?
what are you talking about?
No, not us. Simply Syndicated. They're the ones having a meetup in Leeds.
I was wondering, like, when the hell did this happen?
Not us. To have a meetup, we need people who listen.
I know. You know, we keep, I keep watching the numbers.
I do get to see Pratt occasionally. He is basically the only listener I know who I've met in person and know as a person.
Yeah.
Everyone else who comes by is basically like, hi, bye. Okay, cool. I like you guys. You should come out drinking sometime.
Yeah.
Okay, other than that, something to actually plug that somebody hasn't plugged already. I've been listening to a musician lately called Courtney Barnett. She's really good. You should probably pick up her album if she has one. I'm pretty sure she does, but I'm not sure if it's actually in print yet. Yeah. She's an incredibly good lyricist, so give it a listen. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Let's see.
She was on Jimmy Fallon, apparently. And NPR. Well, there you go.
NPR.
So if you listen to NPR, you can put her brand new CD in your fancy tote bag.
Yes. And you can get an Ask Me Another Rubik's Cube if you're very lucky. Let's see, we get all these listeners, but it's like... Oh my god, what the hell happened in episode 88? Got 2,151 listens.
Wait, did we have one of the ATW9K crew on?
Yes, we had Jason, and we had Adam, so there you go.
In that case, it's probably that.
Half of those are probably Adam's mom.
Hey man, Adam's mom is a sweet old lady, and I will not hear a word about it.
Hey, no, I didn't say she wasn't. Adam's mom, you are a wonderful lady.
Oh,
Please keep listening.
Yes.
I noticed you guys played Channel A.
We
Yes,
did.
we
It
did.
was
Yes.
great fun.
So
I kept.
there's this new Kickstarter project from Jason Thompson, the guy who did like 1,000 manga book, and he does House of 1,000 manga on ANN. He's did a Channel A like game called Mangaka, and he's kickstarting it now. Mangaka is basically the same type of thing, kind of like Channel A when it comes to you pick up these cards and then you have to make a manga from them. Kind of like with Channel A where you're just pitching an anime. And it sounded really awesome, and I'm all about it, and I'm going to kickstart it as soon as I get $50 so I could be one of the first to own it and bring it to MagFest.
Oh, this art is
Magfest.
Yeah,
I know. Mangaka, the fast and furious game of drawing comics, a creative, fast-paced card game where players draw stories combining wild themes and an ever-growing number of fleeting trends.
So I think that game's going to be the business, and I totally want to be one of the first people to get that game.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, this chick has a book falling on her head, but where'd the book come from? It can't have come off the shelf, it's too high.
Hammer Space.
There's
Maybe that
some
guy
mad prick just hurling books around in this room.
I think it's the guy that looks rather upset off in the on the right hand of the frame.
Oh yeah, teacher son.
With the Italy mug.
Oh no, the other guy.
The guy at the door.
Maybe.
The editor who's like, get the manga!
We need the manga.
I'm just so looking forward to this game. I've never been so
Someone link me in the
excited for a
chat.
Kickstarter till now. Except for the
I do.
poor crap Kickstarter that already ended.
Yes. The
Oh,
only thing about that Channel A game is I kept thinking of like all of much better things for like half of them immediately after the premise.
that's how it
finished
always
falling out
is,
of
no
my
matter
mouth.
what the game is. Cards Against Humanity, same thing. Apples to apples, same thing. It's just how it always is.
You know what's the
It's just
best time I played Channel A? I was at MagFest a couple years ago. I played it with a room full of like this fanfic, online fanfic club. They were all went to
Oh,
our
yes.
party because I was like,
Oh God.
hey, we need some girls at our party. You all the girls, come to this party. I put Channel A in front of them, and it just, for hours, just hilarity. They were the right group to give that game to.
I gotta tell you, when I first bought this game, it was like at an anime expo. I bought it right from Asmati Games, and I went and I went straight from the dealer's hall, right over to Board Games, and I said, I'm looking to play an awesome game with awesome people. And you know what? We ended up playing this game and coming up with we came up with like a few shows that were really awesome, and then ended up coming up with theme songs for those shows. Bunny
So you're
police.
you're saying that you write the team tune, you sing the team tune. No?
I don't
Okay.
understand that reference.
Okay, here's a second plug. Watch Little Britain, it's good.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well, that was a fantastic episode. Thank you to Omar and Viga and of course Sherba for coming on to the show today. And we hope to see you guys all next time on Friday
See ya.
Night Line.
It's alright.
Bye.